I met a Gypsy.
Yeah, because I know that this is the impact that you wanted to have, and I know that you wanted to do these kind of events, and I know that this has been just such like a bigger picture aspiration for you. So it must feel crazy to actually be pulling off the stuff that you said you were going to do to other people, and that you said that you were going to do to yourself and to Red Bull. Like that has to be a crazy feeling, to be living in the thing that you wanted to be living in.
100%. I think the biggest way I look at things is under promise and over deliver. And ultimately in my head, I knew how I wanted it to go, and I worked my freaking ass off to do that all week and running in a million directions, to the point of having to like, all right guys, like you got to leave me alone. I got to put the athlete helmet on now. You know what I mean? I got to turn in from producer, host, all this stuff to I got to be an athlete now. So, yeah, it was pretty crazy just to ultimately, like, you could probably see in the episodes, I towed everyone, where it was 85 jumps, I probably hit maybe 80 of them. And first to tow everyone over them. And then I was like, okay, like you got to hit it in this gear. Like, you know, the whole moto lingo, like this gear, like, you know, and everything was exactly like that. So as soon as I would do it, and I'd be like, all right, you want to tow? Follow me. You want to tow? Follow me. So I did that all week to just, you know, and for me to get through all those jumps as good as I did with only one case and like pull everyone over it. And then obviously I twisted my ankle pretty bad when I cased that jump, and I had to take the full day off on Thursday. And the fact that I was kind of, you know, when I'm in pain, I get frustrated, and it like, yeah. I was kind of a little bummed out, like, fuck, like, am I going to not be able to ride tomorrow? I was in that much pain. Like, I'm tripping that I'm not going to be able to ride for the contest. And I just worked so hard to get to this point, and I did all these jumps over all the week. And I ended up, you know, luckily my physical therapist, Marco from Red Bull High Performance, was there, and he worked on me the whole day. And I kind of was able to take myself out of the heart of it on Thursday, the day before the contest. I was able to take myself out of the heart of it and just kind of sit up in the tower and just observe, take myself out of it, and like take a step back and see what I created. And just the fact of like having that day was just a blessing for me. I think like it re-fired me up for the next day. I knew I was in pain. I could barely walk, but once I put the boot on and the adrenaline rolls, like and there's no stopping you, you know, and I worked this hard to get to this point. So when I set my mind to do something, I'm going to do it at all costs. So I was just stoked to be able to get through it in one piece and still land on the podium and put the line together that I wanted. I did make a few mistakes, and I think if I cleaned it up, I would have been a little closer to those guys. But man, I was just stoked to do everything that I kind of wanted, and you know, knock off all those jumps and get everyone through it in one piece was like, it really couldn't have gone any better. Like I had an idea of how I wanted it to go in my head, and it exceeded my expectations tenfold. And just straight up, like the whole thing was like, it was this whole thing came out of my fucked up imagination, and it exceeded my expectations. So it's like beyond my imagination. Like it was, I mean, I just can't even put it into words how thankful I am that everyone got through it in one piece, and everything went as smoothly as it did. And I think so far the reaction's been really cool. And yeah, man, this is why I do what I do. You know, the juice is worth the squeeze. Yeah, man. Nah, dude, I'm fucking super proud of you. Like, just to see the full trajectory of the last 10, 11 years, man, it's just like, it's just such a crazy journey that, you know, I guess it's pretty well documented. Like, you know, there's a lot out there on it, but I think this is like a really cool point to just stand, for me anyway, like as your mate, just to stand back and be like, look at what this motherfucker's done in 10 years. Like that's like a, yeah, you know, it's like, it's a career, dude. Like that is a career worth of 100%. Work that you've put in. If you were to ask 10-year-old me if I would have gotten this far, I would have told you that you were high. But at the end of the day, like, as you said, having the Red Bull platform, like I'm now in the position to like have that platform to have my voice heard, you know, and that's the biggest thing. Like I want to create something rad for freeriding. It's not racing, it's not freestyle, it's like whatever you want it to be, you know. It could be out ripping trails, it could be like Ryan Sipes, like as much as he's a racer, he's a free rider. He does flat track, he does enduro, he does motocross, he does supercross. He's now doing imagination. Like, only thing the dude hasn't done is ridden a street bike that I know of. Hill climb, he's done everything. So like, but that's free riding. He's enjoying it. Like, look at him. He's one of the eldest in the field there, and he's having the most fun. So it's just ultimately like free riding is the coolest thing ever, because it's all just a form of expression. And your dirt bike is your paintbrush, and you go out there and you do whatever you want. So yeah, man, it's just stoked to be able to be in that position to push dirt bikes in the right direction.
Well, there is a renaissance that's happening with riding in general. I mean, like, even for me riding, like, I got my 125 now, and I'm doing these 125 races, and then I bought a vintage bike, and I'm doing vintage races, and then we got the Transmoto series that we go and do like 8 or 12 or 6 hour races as a team, and like, and then the other day, you need to ride a fucking adventure bike. Have you ever been on one of those things? Like,
I have ridden one a couple times.
There is so much
fun.
shit to do on 2 wheels now, man. Like, it's actually psycho.
For sure.
Like, I think I'm gonna get a trials bike.
I know we've been talking about
shit.
it. I know we've been talking about it for a few years now, but we got to go do that trip in Thailand through the hills.
Yeah.
On the adventure bikes. Looks so fun.
Yeah, and I think that, like you said, Ryan Sipes, like the general, like, he can do anything, man. And then you got Josh Hill, that is one of the dopest dudes on a dirt bike right now. You got Axel doing what he's doing. You got Colby doing what he's doing. You got Justin Mumford. You got Cole Seeley's doing his thing. Like, there is a real renaissance where people have stepped outside of the traditional boxes that, were kind of, all right, you're a racer, you're a this, you're a that. Like, everyone kind of identified with these labels. And now it's like, it's almost like that's kind of not the way that people want to go now. It's like people want to just be like, nah, man, I'm just a dirt bike rider. I'm just a motorcyclist.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, the biggest thing is people are at home, like, chomping at the bit to see this stuff, And I feel like you can relate to what we're doing a little more, being an average Joe riding it on the weekends, like, kind of relate to what we're doing a little more than just hammering motos and laps and being a champion and the double backflips. And, it's just, and again, like, I never wanted to, like, be doing this and creating this and, like, make it think like, oh, I'm doing this because I don't like racing or I don't like freestyle. I love absolutely everything to do with 2 wheels. But this is just what has now gotten me to this spot. I've been able to create my own path and do it how I want it on my own terms. And it's now gotten me to this point to now I have this opportunity and this platform to have my voice heard. And ultimately, like I said, just pushing moto in the right direction. So, yeah, man, I'm honestly at loss for words. I'm pretty speechless. I'm still, like, the adrenaline come down is real. I'd say I've told a bunch of people, but it's like a double-edged sword. You do something, you put your mind to something, you put that much work into something, and you have a week straight of the craziest adrenaline of all time. Yeah. But then to get home and then it's all just like a huge come down, and then you're like, oh, like, what's next? And, that's kind of the way I've looked at it. Every open door has led to another open door, and all these opportunities have led to another opportunity, and just, things happen pretty quickly. I got to tend to, like, take a step back sometimes and realize that, like, I was able to last year do, and this just sounds like I'm, like, tooting my own horn, but I'm just taking a step back and realizing, like, I did the ducked out video with Matto, and then I did the one shot video, and that earned an Emmy, a sports Emmy, and then I did Imagination 1.0, like, all in 1 year, just things just back to back to back, and you're just, like, constantly on the go. So sometimes you got to slow yourself down, take a step back. But again, like I said, it feels like a double-edged sword. Like, I just got home today, and I'm like, oh, like, fuck, what am I gonna do next? Yeah,
so, yeah, you're fucked up.
That's the thing. Like, you're never satisfied. Like, you're always wanting to keep pushing, and there's something to be said about that. Like, once you're content and complacent, then that's when failure starts to happen. So, just always striving for more, man. Team never give up.
Yeah, you're a fucking psycho. That's Just it's pretty certified at this point.
Hey, it takes one to know one.
If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. And to listen to the full 3-hour podcast, search Gypsy Tales in your favorite podcast platform or click the link in the description below. Gypsy Gang.